there's no one who can really successfully invade this country and not be quickly forced out and retreat back to their own. I don't even think China's up to the task as of yet, although they're developing a lot of capabilities.
I think before you go to war, you need to understand your enemy. For example, the Japanese, after World War II, the American occupation went fairly smooth, simply because we had broken the nation's spirit by dropping 2 nuclear bombs, as well as, that's my Japanese wife laughing, as well as the fact that the Japanese had been disarmed for 500 years. There was the military, there was an officer class that were very brave, but the Japanese people themselves had been disarmed for so long that when an occupying force came into their country, they didn't have it really in their culture to start guerrilla warfare. Now, this isn't exactly commonly known, but there was a lot of trouble in Germany after World War II with guerrilla-style warfare.
Basically, Nazi sympathizers, former Nazis themselves who escaped the camps. Walmart parking lot is not the best place to fucking record a video. Anyway, but my wife wanted me to come along. Do you like her? You like her car? Isn't that fucking lovely? I don't know if you can see that down there, but that's Tinkerbell. This is the gayest car on earth. It's a Hyundai Elantra, some piece of shit. I tried to talk her out of buying. Anyways, let's get back on subject.
Many Germans had guns, and basically the tactic used by us, we just told the German government we had installed, take care of this problem, and we gave them free rein to put down the problem.
And the Polizei did their job and rounded them up and put down the what would you call them, insurgents, I guess is today's PC word of the week. So that worked itself out. Now, this didn't work in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh had basically evolved advanced style of guerrilla warfare, and while we tried to get our special forces to do a lot of wet work and, lean on village elders, and we did a lot of terrorism in Vietnam, but in the end it didn't work, and that kind of thing just won more support for Ho Chi Minh, and that's why probably one of the contributing reasons to why we lost Vietnam. We didn't win the hearts, we didn't win the minds.
So we ended up losing Vietnam, and now we're in Iraq, where we're also using the same tactics we used in Vietnam, which are rather unsuccessful. We've installed a government composed of Shias that basically want to slaughter the Sunnis, and we can't convince them to get a hold of their own people in order to quit doing that. Our best success has been with the Kurds, and the Kurds have basically created their own nation in the north and have nothing to do with the south, where all the genocide, I wouldn't say it's genocide quite yet, but all the sectarian violence is occurring. That said, I think there's a few lessons you can draw out of those different conflicts and ongoing conflict. You need to fully understand the situation you're getting into, and you need to understand the culture, and it's not because of cultural relativism. You only need cultural relativism insofar as you can understand how your enemy thinks. If you cannot understand how your enemy thinks, and he has ingenious ways of thinking, your casualties are going to be high. Now, I'm not talking about nuclear warfare, because when that occurs, all bets are off. Like, if during the Cold War we finally would have faced down the Soviets, say the Cuban Missile Crisis had gone different, that very well could have been a nuclear holocaust that destroyed the world. Because there's no way we could have found each of the ICBM trailer trucks they had going around that could launch those missiles, and there's no way they could have got all our B-52s and ICBMs and Polaris that were mounted on the submarines. So, therefore, that's why mutually assured destruction worked. However, if the Iranians get a hold of nuclear weapons, they're the type of religious zealots that might want to bring about Armageddon. So basically, what I'm saying is, our military strategies seem to have kind of not been able to cope with the enemy of today, which is not a state entity. I mean, you were specifically citing state entities, and the only one I can think of off the top of my mind that we might get into a war with now would be Iran. However, I think we need to think more of these, I hate to use the word.
Shut up.
Yeah, Hiroko doesn't like my videos. Well, anyways, we also face another kind of enemy that's not state-based, that has basically, a quarter to a third of the world to hide in. They have the Muslim world to hide in. They can find fundamentalists in any of these countries where they can grow. They're not... Our military structure is a pyramid. It has the top, and then you have your infantry down here, your ground pounders. And the communication is very linear. The terrorist structure is non-linear. It's more like some kind of complex, interweaving tapestry than ours is. And the thing is with them, you take out a nodule here, that doesn't exactly take out something over here. Well, we were thrown into disarray when they hit the Pentagon. Imagine if they'd had our military capabilities. Well, I think I'd have to write this out to really make it coherent and cogent. So I'm going to end this here.
Anyway, I liked what you were saying in the comments section about assassination. However, assassination isn't always easy to accomplish. We tried to assassinate Castro a number of times in the 60s. The CIA lost a lot of face because they kept fucking up and couldn't get it accomplished, and people made fun of their proposed methods, such as the exploding cigar and poisoning him. And we all know that rumor from the 90s that they'd trained a chimpanzee to kill Saddam Hussein, although I think that's just hearsay and foolishness. Still, don't you think there was probably some covert operations, basically attempts on Saddam's life? According to the media, he was paranoid, and for good reason, I'm sure. He had body doubles. He moved from place to place so he couldn't be easily targeted with a cruise missile. Much like Osama bin Laden today. Basically, assassinations are hard to accomplish if it is of a leader of any power. Now, I'm sure you or I could be easily assassinated, but then again, we don't really amount to anything, do we?